Guten Tag, good afternoon. Thanks a lot for the presentation. I'm really happy to be here to present you Switzerland's mobility, to show you what we did. I'm sure for relevant parts of our strategy, of our product, of our routes, of our communication system, and also for the organization. It's inspiring. It can be a model, not for the whole Switzerland mobility system, but for some parts of it, definitely for other countries, for example, for Iceland. So I'm really happy to present the most important parts of Switzerland mobility this afternoon. Thanks a lot for the invitation. I really love to present you what we did and how we did. My name, probably Björn presented already shortly who I am. I'm one of the co-founders of Switzerland Mobility. So since the first moment, 12 years ago, I am within the management board of this project. It began quite a long time ago already in '93 with one specific project for one region, for one mobility form. It's cycling. A cycling project for one region in Switzerland, period when the management team was young and wild. Now it's maybe a little bit different, but that was the first idea, '89, to create something for one region. And as it worked quite well for one region, the idea behind quite quickly came, what works for one region should theoretically also work for the whole country. And that was intellectually the birthday of cycling in Switzerland. And that was '93. And then cycling in Switzerland, the national offer was created. But then quite soonly after this, the same question again was put on the table. What works for one mobility form for the whole country means cycling could theoretically or should theoretically also work for other mobility forms, for hiking, for mountain biking, for example. And so that was the idea behind, and then the work began. The rocket started to create this Switzerland Mobility Network. The message is easy to understand. It's the best of human-powered mobility in Switzerland, coordinated and put together under one umbrella brand in Switzerland, and that's the brand, that's the flag of Switzerland Mobility. It's like Switzerland that moves a little bit more, that is a little bit more dynamic. That's Switzerland Mobility. So I told you it began everything with cycling, but very quickly after the opening of the cycling offer, we were contacted from the Swiss Hiking Association. They asked us what you did for cycling, a national offer with routes and communication and services, partnerships and so on. Could this also work for hiking? And that was, in a way, the birthday, the first step into the idea, okay, we could create for other mobility forms what we did already for cycling, for hiking. And then the next step was, yeah, okay, we could do it. And as there was already a brand for cycling in Switzerland, the next step was hiking in Switzerland. That's still the national brand for hiking in Switzerland. And so, if already cycling, if already hiking, the next step was, okay, then it would be fascinating to think in the same manner also for mountain biking, and also for inline skating, and also for canoeing. And that are the 5 national offers of Switzerland Mobility. And for the moment, at least. And that's also the reason why, when I was contacted by Björn to present the hiking part of Switzerland Mobility, I said, yes, in a way I can do, but as it is always in infrastructure, in signposting, in print, in internet, in partnership models, a part of a whole system, it won't be a purely hiking presentation. It's, of course, also hiking, but it's an overall concept. So it was launched, officially opened in 2008, so 6 years a little bit more than 6 years ago. It's still at the age of a baby, in a way, Swiss mobility, but it got, meanwhile, quite known already, not only nationally. That's the network, quite huge, so you can immediately see 33,000 kilometers for all the 5 mobility forms. That is quite official, and there is not really something apart Switzerland mobility. It's the national offer for hiking, cycling, and so on in Switzerland. To give you an idea what it means a little bit more concretely, the hiking part, we have national routes. Altogether, we have 7. We have regional routes, about 50. And then we have local routes, normally one-day excursions, about 150. And all the 3 categories are conceived, are signposted, are branded in a way according to the same system. The cycling as the first step into Switzerland mobility, the same system behind, national routes, regional routes, and also local routes. For mountain biking, a little bit less dense, because here on this level nothing existed before Switzerland mobility got active. We have 3 national routes, for example, and here about 15 regional routes. And skating, it's in a way sexy, but it's more a niche. It's by far less important than hiking and cycling and also mountain biking. But also here the conception, the rules behind are the same than for the other 3 parts of Swiss mobility. We have national routes, we have regional routes, and we have local routes. And for canoeing, the same. Again, here we have 1 national route, and then we have regional routes and some local routes also. So for 5 mobility forms, always the same idea, conception behind national, regional, and local routes. So to give you some impression, after 5 years, 2013, opening 2008, what was the development also from the end consumer side? For example, the web visits. It began at 1 million in 2008, and then it went up. We were happy and relaxed about this. Actually, in 2014, we had 7 million of web visits. So it's definitely in communication something positive that motivates us also to go on with investment. The consumers, the users of Swiss mobility, 80% are Swiss, and about 20% come from other countries. And among the other countries, the number 1, as always in Europe, is Germany. It's the most important source market specifically for cycling. It's the cycling country in Europe for making holidays on the bicycle, so that's quite important. And of course, the people use the tools. For example, you can print out the maps for free. From 2008 on till 2013, in the first 5 years, almost 3 million of those kind of maps were printed out by the users of Switzerland mobility. And here you can see also what is the quality of the map behind, and you can also see immediately it's not a Google map. I explained it already shortly this morning. Why not Google? It's for 2 reasons. If you compare the quality of the Swiss Ministry cartography, topography, it's totally a different world. And the second one, we can place electronically on the web map our partners that we want and construct our partnership models also financially according to our rules and not according to the rules of somebody else. So a little explanation for this one. Then guidebooks. In the first 5 years, about 130,000 guidebooks were sold. That's certainly positive, but here, to be honest, the direction is not this one. The direction is the inverse. The first year, 50,000 guidebooks were sold by the editors. 5 years later, 10,000. So you see the direction. The online communication within Switzerland mobility goes up extremely, and the print communication, guidebooks, maps, and so on goes down. Unfortunately, but we can't change it. Apps. The first year, we launched a free mobile application. We had already 90,000 almost downloads. In the meanwhile, we are at 300,000 downloads of the mobile application of Switzerland mobility. It's a free application. I invite you to do it. In Switzerland, I wouldn't explain to you because of the roaming costs, but here it's an online application. You can try it and see how it's presented also on this level. So let's talk about the strategy. And the strategy can be shown without any word, only with a picture, only with this kind of slides. So what are the elements of the strategy of citizen mobility? We have the public transport. It's the first floor. Buses, trains, and so on. We have the routes as a next floor. We have the signposting. We have the bookable offers, for example. We have information tools, print, internet. We have marketing on the national, transnational, but also regional level, and the most important, the guests. And that's the reality in almost every European country when they communicate something about cycling, hiking, and so on. The elements are already here, but, and that was also the huge problem in Switzerland, the elements are not coordinated. The different floors don't belong together. Infrastructure, communication, partnership models, and so on. And that was, in a way, the first reason to act, to create citizen mobility. To consider the area between the two lines, and ideally to forget what is on the left, on the right-hand side of this right lane, because these are the parts of the house that are not coordinated with the rest, and ideally what is invested inside the lines is coordinated with the rest, so a good investment, and what is not coordinated is normally investment that is not worth. For example, invest in infrastructure that is not communicated, or invest in communication where you have not an infrastructure reality behind. That's not really ideal. So that was and is always an argument that is also in Switzerland very important. Orientate the investments into the coordinated way. So you may ask, what should happen to make sure that the investments go in the right direction, that the different floors are coordinated? And it's not so easy to imagine what should happen with the different elements. They should move together. Means place the routes where the services are, where the public transport, where the bus stops are, for example. That's the first step. Then the signposting. Concentrate the signpost investments where the best of routes are that are themselves linked with the services. Motivate the private tour operators to place their offers on the routes that are solid, that are signposted, are maintained, that are sustainable, and not somewhere else. Motivate the editors, the private ones as well, when they edit a guidebook, a map, and so on, integrate these elements, place their communication on a solid infrastructural basis. The same with the marketing. Touristic regions or also national marketing organizations, they have tendency, not only in Switzerland, but all over Europe, to reinvent the wheel year by year. And this year, it's not really nice what I say, but it's really reality. This year it's maybe this best of, and next year it's this best of. And for the rest of the building, that's extremely difficult because you can't reinvest year by year or 3 years by 3 years in a totally other direction. It must be stable, it must be sustainable. And so that's a huge explanation work that we do day by day to touristic partners, touristic regions, but also Switzerland Tourism. Place, please, your communication and your marketing on the rest of the house and not somewhere else. In the meanwhile, that works quite good, but that was a huge work in the beginning. And if this works, of course, what will happen? If infrastructure, information, promotion, and partnership models are coordinated, the system as a whole is more understandable. The house is better coordinated, and there will be more guests. And then there's one additional floor. It's the content, the descriptions, the pictures, and specifically the map. There must be one reference. Where are the routes? Because when an editor communicates something, they must be sure, okay, the route is here, and there's not here, and there's not here. And so we consider ourselves, in the name of our public partners and also private partners, that we define, here's the route. And the GIS of citizen mobility is the reference for communication by touristic regions and so on. And that's also important to talk, in a way, the same language. And if this works, it seems to be extremely easy, but it's still today a hard work, also in Switzerland. It's to link, also in communication, the elements about routes, about services, about accommodation, about bookable offers, and so on. And if it works, in a way, that's Switzerland mobility. So if you are asked either tomorrow or in 1 year or 5 years, what is the strategy of Switzerland mobility, it's enough if you keep one image. That's, in a way, the reason why we exist. It's a coordination and a communication task between different elements, infrastructure, information, and communication. So that's important, of course, on national level, the task that we do day by day. But it's also important on the cantonal level. And now, since 3-4 years, we began to motivate our cantonal, our regional partners to build up on the organizational level, in a way, something that we have already on the national level, means organizational buildings on the cantonal level. Also to make sure that on this level, the coordination between infrastructure, information, promotion happens in the same way as we do it on the national level. And it's working more and more better. And if it's successful, also on this level, investments go or happen in a coordinated way and not in every direction. But that's also a huge task to implement this coordination also on the regional level. And so it's a multiplicator effect. We don't have to explain to everybody this strategy. Also, there are other explainers on the regional level, for example, to the municipalities again. So it really begins to run. So on the geographical level, what is the strategy? We have the services, we have public transport, of course, something very, very important in Switzerland. We have accommodation, we have restaurants, we have bike rental, and so on. And that's, in a way, on the geographical level, the first step. We didn't think about the routes first. We first thought about where are the services, the relevant services for the routes. And then we defined about 500 places, one by another, for all over Switzerland, where people want to go by public transport and where they sleep and so on. And that's the first step into the structure of Switzerland mobility. And then we looked also where is the normal day trip for one place where you sleep to another one. And based on this, all the routes were conceived. Means the national routes for hiking all over Switzerland, the regional routes for hiking, and the local routes for hiking, normally one-day round trips. And the same for cycling, for mountain biking, for inline skating, and for canoeing. Means for 5 mobility forms, in a way, the same reflection, the same strategy behind. National routes, regional, local routes, always linked with services, because that's important. People must and won't spend money. So that's the second element of the strategy on the geographical level, how this network is built up. Concretely now, of course, signposting is important to find the routes on your way. Hiking routes are in yellow, mountain biking, cycling, inline skating routes are in red. And so that's the basic system of the signpost. That's not the invention of system mobility. That exists already. Yellow for hiking and the rest in red. But now the question was how implement the brand architecture, the brand management of Switzerland mobility into this signposting reality and rules. And the first element was colors. We differentiate the mobility forms by color. The green is the communication color for hiking, and the blue for cycling, the mountain biking is yellow, and so on. And then we have a numbering system. 1 number is national, 2 number is regional, and 3 number is local. And so you have 2 ideas behind, and with these simple ideas behind, you understand all the system. You have a color argument. For example, yellow must be always mountain biking. That's the first level. The second one is the numbering level. 2 numbers, for example, is a regional. And so with these 2 basics, you understand all the system in communication, not only on signposting level, but also in communication, print, web, and so on. For this, you have also manuals. You can download it easily from our website. For signposting, for example, and so on. And here you see, for example, information panels for city mobility in reality at railway stations, for example. We have 500 of these information panels. And here you can see on the map the light blue line, of course, it's cycling. The green line, it's hiking, and so on. So this brand architecture is automatically transmitted, for example, on this level. So in communication, what is, of course, important, the most important tool, it's the website, switzerlandmobility.ch. It's in 4 languages. It's mandatory in Switzerland. That's different language. It's not English, but German, French, and Italian. But of course, also English. It's important. It's the 4th language in communication, also to attract people from Iceland, for example. And then again, you see the websites for cycling, for mountain biking, for inline skating, and for canoeing. Here you can see one step further how you can go, for example, to the routes in a destination. You can choose a destination, for example, Andermatt, and then appears all the routes that go through Andermatt, the list. And then, for example, here we have 15 routes. We have national, regional, and local mountain biking routes in Andermatt. And here you can see an example of a route description on the web level. You can see here in the middle, of course, the content, mood-making text, then photos, something about signposting, the link direct to the web map, 2 different websites. Always you can go from the website to the web map and back again. Here's the extract. There's an API window on the website level. And then the services here. The points of interest, accommodation, and so on. And so you have always, for every route, linked the service information with the route information level. All the different informations about public transport, about linked to a route, about accommodation related to a route, about bike rental, about points of interest, about prints, about bookable offers. All this normally is solved with links. We integrate small texts, small descriptions, picture, and so on in our website, but we are not a reservation platform. We are entrance store, we are information platform, and when people want to book from here, from our website, they go directly to the booking mask of a hotel, for example, or a tour operator. Okay. Here, another example, for example, if you look for the accommodation partners in Andermatt, here you can see then the different hotels and so on related to the route. Or, as I have mentioned already before, shortly, the link to the web map. You can click on it, then you have the web map, and then you click on it, make the map bigger, and then you go from the website to the web map. And here you are now the web map level. Here again you can see that's a mountain bike route, for example, and here the services are integrated. For example, the public transport stops. You can see it here in blue for trains, for buses, and so on, for ships as well. And we have 25,000 public transport stops in Switzerland that are integrated in the web map of Switzerland Mobility. 25,000, so it's really huge. It's important to have strong partners with public transport. And you can click on every of these public transport stops. And you can choose, you go to this stop, or you want to go from this public transport stop home again, for example. And then you introduce the time and the day. And then you go to the timetable of the public transport of Switzerland. So you see also how it's linked non-motorized traffic information with the public transport information quite easily. You can print out, I mentioned already, the maps for free. That's the result. Once again, I think it's obvious that it's not a Google map. It's, we are happy that we have such a good quality national topography. I think in many countries, the quality of the maps is really, really good. So that's an opportunity to take. And then, if we can add improvements, innovation, we do. For example, weather forecast now, you can find directly also placed on the web map, also with a precipitation radar that you can click on. based on the web map of Switzerland mobility. So if you want to discover more detail what shortly was explained, go to switzerlandmobility.ch. As long as you physically don't go to Switzerland, you can go on the website and look a little bit around how it's conceived, this information. Then let's talk a little bit about partnerships. For example, Switzerland tourism. It would be impossible to create Switzerland mobility without also marketing partners like Switzerland tourism, because it's the relevant marketing organization for Switzerland. And so it was important that more and more they integrate in their activities information about Switzerland mobility on the marketing level. And now, 2 years ago, they launched a campaign, Outdoor Swiss Made. And that's the way the marketing umbrella, but the content is 100% Switzerland mobility. And so you can see already on the website of Switzerland tourism how hiking in Switzerland and so on, the web map also for hiking and so on is integrated. So one example, I think this time a good example that shows that tourism organizations don't have to reinvent the wheel always. That's really, really important. Or here you can see that's like the website of Switzerland mobility, and on the top it's the red area of Switzerland tourism, but the rest it's purely Switzerland mobility. Or on the regional level, also when, for example, the central Switzerland, Lucerne tourism communicates cycling, we prepared a relatively simple tool, an iframe solution, where this touristic region can integrate on the regional level Switzerland mobility information technically. And so they don't have to reconstruct, redescribe all. They integrated an iframe and extract of Switzerland mobility in their website. And so also we talk on this level in the same language. Or Bern tourism. They described in another way the Switzerland mobility routes on their website, but for the web map, they integrated a part of our web map in their website. And so again, on the geographical level, the basis is the same. Or a hiking organization. In Basel, for example, they also with a frame solution integrated the routes and the web map of Switzerland mobility. So that shows how important it is, of course, what yourself you communicate, but also that the partners communicate ideally what you are doing so the system is understandable. Or also for the prints. Some of the guidebooks even are also in the official colors of Switzerland mobility. Even if prints are getting less and less important, it's still important that if something is produced, that where possible, where useful, it's coordinated. Here an example of the hiking map, the official one, or one of the official ones in Switzerland. You can already see on the front page there's the logo of Switzerland mobility, or the logo of hiking in Switzerland. And in the map, in the hiking map, you can see also the elements, the logos, the route numbers that are used in the same way. Or that's of the federal ministry, the official hiking map. And here also you can see how Switzerland mobility, hiking in Switzerland routes are integrated. Or on the tour operator level, the same. For example, here, a national route that is integrated in a catalog of the tour operator. Yeah, the development goes on, of course, and something, a new offer we integrated in 2013, 2 years ago, was an offer for people in wheelchairs as a part of the official communication, hiking in Switzerland. And here definitely it got very, very complex, because here the criteria are totally different and much more detailed. And so people with wheelchairs, really the expert organizations, tested every centimeter even to see if it works out or not. But now we are really happy that about 60 offers for all the countries in Switzerland now are integrated in our communication of Switzerland mobility. Here you can see some examples also that show that it's not always in the flat region, also in mountain region it's important to offer such routes. That's our partner Mobility International Schweiz. And here you can see the route information panels, how they are integrated in the signposts. And we have differentiated the difficulty. Red is middle, that's very difficult, and blue is easy And so they know which quality criteria they have to fulfill. Okay, now the last part, that's not the yesterday and 2 days music, that's the tomorrow's music, but we were in the last years several times asked what you did now for hiking, cycling, mountain biking, skating and canoeing. Could this be developed in the future for other seasons, other mobility forms? We were already contacted, for instance, for the paraglider in the air. It's also a way human-powered mobility, non-motorized traffic. And here you can see also a very important player on the Swiss market is the Swiss Alpine Club, who asked us what you experience now for these mobility forms. Would this also be okay in the higher mountains and maybe also in the winter? Means the experiences we made till now adapted even to climbing with totally different maybe criteria behind, but also challenges in communication on a two-dimensional map. How can you present this? It's not possible. You have to switch like this, or with more with pictures, or really it's a challenge, but it shows the potential, also the touristic potential is there to go further than we are at the moment. Or even really high mountain like this, or like this, or also then all the winter mobility forms like ski touring, for example, or winter hiking, or snowshoe. Or even this one is potentially a part of the offer of Switzerland mobility in winter. And that led us to the discussion, more than a discussion. Okay, we could add, you can see it here, to the summer mobility forms, the winter, as an additional level of Switzerland mobility. And that could be maybe the result. It's Switzerland mobility in winter, with winter hiking, snow shoe, and so on. With also, even within the summer alpine land, like a hiking land or cycling land, could be an alpine land, but you can see immediately it's the same web conception done for the existing already. With descriptions of the climbing propositions, for example, could be presented more or less in a similar way than we do already. So that's definitely the future music, the last part. I think that the chance that we go into winter and high mountain is definitely bigger than 50%, but it's not yet 100% financed and definitely not decided. But I think the chances is quite okay that we can go to it. So Switzerland mobility, it's in a way like a vitrine where you can see the product, but to make it easy, understandable like this, you need somebody behind. And that's maybe the last message of my presentation. Of course, the image, the vitrine, it's what counts to the end consumers, but behind you need really everyday hard work, ongoing work to coordinate these different elements, infrastructure, information, and so on. And if we succeed, that works. Voila, that was the more or less short, within the time I hope, presentation of hiking, but not only hiking, cycling, mountain biking, inline skating and canoeing in Switzerland. Thanks a lot for the attention.